So this is an evening session in a warmer room than I normally do my morning session in. So let's do some warm up. Let's go straight in. So you might hear my students asking questions. They're very good at asking questions. I'll try not to name them by name, but if I do, it's only by their first name or maybe a nickname. So they'll remain anonymous. Okay, and then backwards, backstroke, and then forwards. Mind the lampshades, and then out and back and out and back. Back. Okay, and then opposite knee to opposite elbow. And the trick with this one is to see how far you can get the knees to go up whilst keeping the abdominal core strong. Oh, nice. And keeping the shoulders relaxed. Okay, and then again from side to side. And then round, biggest hip circles, but be careful of the knee joint as you do this. I'm always worried about the knee joints, as you know, and the other way. I want to keep them protected. Lovely. So I've been asked for soothing and gentle, but at the same time a bit warming because it was cold outside. It's November in England, mid-November, coming to late November. Some parts of England had snow last night. So let's stand here for a moment. And instead of normally we go straight into the mountain, we've done our check-in already for our 3-minute breathing space, mindfulness. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go straight in to Lord Shiva pose. Okay, so the base foot, if this is 12 o'clock, is going out at 10 o'clock. And the other foot comes up. So this knee bends, the other foot is pointing towards it. Okay, and pointing down towards that foot, but about at knee level. The high knee, the other hand comes up, same, and the other hand points to the foot. So I've got right hand up, right foot up, left knee bending, left leg taking the weight. Okay, lovely. And then open out into star. Again, the feet, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, this is 12 o'clock. Lovely. And then just check when you bend the knees, are they going over the second toe? Okay. And try to keep the core strong here as we bend and go into the goddess pose. Lovely. So the trick with this one is not to lean forward, to actually just drop the torso down. So you're sitting on an imaginary chair. Then the other trick is to have the upper arms parallel to the ceiling, if you can. So, and then the hands technically are not meant to be pointing towards me, nor the front. They're sort of halfway. There. Okay, and then you go down a bit lower, because technically the thighs are meant to be parallel to the floor. Oh, and then off. That's hard, isn't it? Yeah. So back to star. And then bend your, I don't know if you're doing it with me or mirroring me, but I'm bending my right knee, one at one end of my mat. And I'm going to swing the left foot over and up, the other foot. Depends if you're mirroring me or not. So the left hand is up, the left foot is towards the knee. Okay. Not sure I'm doing enough of the bend. If you feel you're going to lose it, just put the other foot down for a moment to regain the balance. And then back out. Okay. And then release down, shake out. So now we've practiced this, what I'd like my students to do is do it along your mat. So start at one end and do it to the other end. I'm going this way, start one end and end off at the other end. Okay. And just watch me a moment, because what we're going to do is going to start momentarily in mountain, Tadasana, then moving into Shavasana, Shiva Asana, sorry, which is called Shiva pose, then jumping out into star pose, and then down into goddess pose. Okay, and then back into the opposite side of Shiva pose. And then eventually what I want is I want you to feel star, down, lift, up, star, down, lift, up, star, down, lift, up. Yes? So it's almost like a Tai Chi movement. So I'm starting at this end of the mat, the left side of the mat. And mountain, Tadasana. Nice and steady. And then turn your left foot out, right foot towards the heel, towards the knee, heel towards the knee. Hands up. And breathe in. Stretch into the star. Breathe out. Down into the goddess. Lovely. And then breathe in, swing, and up. Opposite side.
The opposite side.
Yes, did I not do the opposite side?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then out and down and over. So let's get that flow going. So from here to star, down to goddess, swing and other side. Or Shiva pose, star, goddess, or Shiva pose, star, goddess, or Shiva pose, star, goddess, or Shiva pose. Okay, last one, pause, back into the mountain. So I'm just going to show you side on what's been going slightly wrong. So in Lord Shiva pose, a lot of people are kind of, okay, really torso straight as much as possible. Use this foot though, if you feel unsteady, bring it down. And then we all seem to be doing fine when we come into the star, but once we go into the goddess pose, everybody bends forward. So side on it looks like this. Okay, which isn't quite what I was hoping. I was more hoping for a knees going over the second toe, sitting down with a straight upright torso, and then swinging and up to the other side. Right, so let's start and do that again. Everybody okay? Any questions? No. Mountain pose. Okay, and turn left foot out. Or it's the foot that's opposite, so it'll be your right foot. Okay, because I'm going that way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have this foot ready to leap across. Okay, you've got it. Shiva. Leap. Star. Down. Much better. Swing to Shiva. Stretch out, star. Down. Goddess. Lovely. Shiva. Star. Goddess. The trick with Lord Shiva is the knee that's off, it's the hand that's off. And don't worry if it isn't, because it's just another pose. Out, star, goddess. Oh, very nice goddesses. Over. Star,
Don't wait for me.
goddess. Shiva. Star, goddess, and Shiva. Last one, we're going to slow it right down. Try there, just try just like so.
Okay.
It's more like a Krishna pose rather than the Shiva pose. Yep. Open out into the star. Feel from the core, you're radiating from a strong core. Breathing out, coming down, knees going over the second toe. Lovely, sitting back. And then get ready, swing to the other side. Lord Shiva on that side. And to finish, stop. Okay, and then breathe out, release the hands and let them rock from side to side for a bit, swinging, swinging. So I really like that sequence. Started doing it some years ago, didn't I? And it's something that I do regularly, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. Just because it's a nice flow and you can slow it down, speed it up, you can do it with the breath. So let's stand in Tadasana and just settle for a moment. Even weight through the feet, shoulders back, crown of the head lifting. Shoulder blades coming together. Check out, leaning back, more forward. Chin slightly down. Back of the neck long. Let's be those nice steady mountains for a moment. And then let's come into a forward bend. Breathing in, stretching up, arching back, looking up. So we were doing the beginning of the sun salute. And then bend the knees quite deeply and generously. Breathing out, coming down. Okay, so it's an extremely gentle forward bend. And when you're down, opening out the shoulder blades, tucking the chin in. Okay. And then I hope all of you have got your hands little. Let me just check. Yes. What we're going to do there is bring your hands forward of your feet. Okay. And then breathe in, raise your left leg. It might not go very far. And you lower your forehead to your shin on the right leg. Okay. Now, see if you can have even weight through that right foot as you lift the left foot. So you're having to move your ankle joint and your weight coming through that leg. So it's not just on the front of your foot, not just on the back or the left or the right, but evenly. Whilst dropping the shoulders down. Okay, to come out of this, because it's very tiring on the right leg, drop the left foot down and just go into starter pose with your knee on the ground for a moment. Forward. Okay, and looking up. Was that hard? I found that hard. Yeah. So watch that knee, George, because you've got your foot back. I'm just worried about the pressure on the front of this knee joint. So look, watch me. Just bring that foot forward a bit. This one? Yeah. Okay, looking up a moment. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So bring the left foot forward, so you're back into a nice gentle forward bend. And separate the shoulder blades out. Let's see if you can really enjoy this. Separate the shoulder blades out, wriggle jiggle down a bit. Okay, pause there for a moment. Separate the feet a little if you want to, it makes it a little bit easier. Tuck the chin in. Don't have to have the legs straight at all. Okay, and then those hands, you walk them forward a little, because you know what we're going to do. We're going to lift the right leg up this time and try to bring the forehead to the left chin. So it's a forward bend with a leg lift. And again, see if you can have even weight through that foot. That's the kind of challenge of it. Just to make it more interesting as well. Until almost that left leg starts to shake, which is a sign that we're no longer really doing the pose, we're actually beginning to struggle and strain. So bring that right foot down and place the right knee on the ground. Okay. Lovely. And then looking up, just having a pause. Okay, and then this is the next forward bend. So going back into the forward bend. I think everybody's thinking, my goodness, as if this is teething in general, what's the bigger rest? So another forward bend might be getting a little bit easier each time you do it. So tailbone up to the heavens, soften the knees, open the shoulder blades, dropping into it. Then hold on to the elbows, one of my favorites. Okay, and you can use the elbows and the arms to just wriggle jiggle the ribs further down to the floor. Breathing into that. Again, challenge is to have even weight through the feet again. Not too much on the front, not too much on the back. And then breathing in, lift the arms, your wings right up, and clasp your hands together at the back, and see if you can bring the hands up, arms up, maybe even over a bit. Okay. 3 triangle pose. Sorry, 2 triangle pose. 3 Paladasana. Yes. Vikona asana. Lovely. Reaching a triangle, feet to hips and shoulders to fingers. Okay, and then to come out of this, breathing out, bring the hands down to the pelvis, rubbing down the backs of the legs and up again. That's it. Nice. And then just walk the hands forward and then the feet back. We're actually ending up into a downward facing dog, pushing the dog into the dog, heels towards the floor, tailbone up and back. So if you could take the awareness to the shoulder blades, widen them out. Okay, widen the shoulders themselves away from each other. Chin tucking in, heels coming down. Even weights are not collapsing inwards on the foot nor outwards. And because this is such a beneficial pose as well as slightly heating, just stay there for a while, breathing into it. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Okay, and then we're going to do the dog lift and twist. So lift the left foot up and twist so that you're looking to your left. Okay, and then down. Maybe I threw that one at you too fast. Lift the right foot up and then turn the pelvis so that it's facing parallel to the wall on the right. And you're turning, but your shoulders are more or less still facing the initial way that they were facing. And then breathe out and down. Then just walk the feet for a moment. And back into downward facing dog. And remember, if your hands and wrists are finding it really hard, you can try different hand positions like fist position, for example, takes a lot of the strain out of the wrist. And you can also roll up your mat and put the heel of the hand on the rolled up bit and the fingers on the floor. Okay, and then I'd like you to heel forward, 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 feet forward, coming forward, walking, 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 hands coming to join them back into the forward bend. So all these forward bends are actually soothing, calming and quieting, even though they're feeling quite vigorous at the moment. And I'd like you to put the right hand in front of your feet, but in the middle. The left hand lifts up. So you're doing the forward bend with this lift twist. Lovely. Keep breathing into it. See if you can see that hand in the air up there. Very nice. And again, probably leaning a lot on the left by leaning evenly on both feet. Good. Breathing out and down. Pause there for a moment. Tuck the chin in. Drop the hands as though they're so heavy you can't hold them into your socket anymore. And then put the left hand at the front of the feet, but in the middle. And lift the right hand up and turn and see if you can see the ceiling and your right hand. And again, you're probably finding you've leant sort of unconsciously onto the left foot. Try to even out through both feet. Bringing that right shoulder further and further back. Hopefully, eventually sort of above the left shoulder. That even way through the feet. Okay, lovely. Breathing out, bringing that hand down. Again, dropping the arms, letting them fall out of your shoulder socket. Okay, and then we're going into Utkatasana from there. Utkatasana is good at this time of year, the fierce pose, because we want that strength and energy. Okay, so it's like you're sitting on an imaginary little stool behind you. Okay, and you're trying not to go bend the knees so much that they're past the little toe, the big toes. Okay, and then hopefully the arms are going about the same angle as the knee to ankle. Lovely. Looking up through the arms. And then eventually it starts to feel as though the thighs have really had enough. That's about now. Yeah. So at that point, pushing up, all the way up, going into the lifted mountain, looking up through the hands, tucking the tailbone under, holding in a little bit here on the abdominal core, dropping the shoulders, breathing into that. And then bringing the hands together, crossing the thumbs, clasping all the fingers except the index, which keep pointing to the heavens, and lift up that bit further now, lifting the shoulders. So we're trying to touch and poke through the ceiling. And then those of you who know how to lift Mula Bandha, the base lock, just engage that. So those are the muscles around the pelvic floor that for women, and I have no idea what it's like for men, but for women, it's when you're peeing and you're trying to stop mid-flow. It's those muscles. They lift up and in as the fingers point towards the ceiling. Abdominal area engaged. Okay, and then bring the hands into Namaste. So that just means the fingers are now straight up, palms together. The thumbs nestling like brother to brother up there next to each other like good friends. And then breathing out, bringing the hands down to the heart. Okay. And the forearms parallel to the floor. Oh. And then I'd like you to just rock the head from side to side.
Nice and gentle. So.
I think that was ironic.
What's your definition of gentle?
This is lovely gentle. Okay, drop the arms.
Warmed up anyway.
Warmed up, exactly. Exactly. From side to side. Still from side to side. So drop the shoulders if you can. And then stay down on one side. So it's stretching along that neck. So trying to keep the shoulders down. Yeah. Yeah. And then up, straight, 12 o'clock, and then down to the side. And then up, straight. Now I could do more neck work there, but we've been standing a lot. And there are some rumblings of discontent within the class. They want it to get a little bit gentler. So rotate your ankle joints for a minute and we're coming down. So comfortably coming down. Do I need anything over there? Oh, you see my cushion just next to you? You just chuck that. Yeah. So let's sit and pull our sitting bones back, our sitting muscles back. Okay, and legs quite wide. So this is gentle. This counts.
So far.
So we're simply sitting in a wide legged stretch. And usually things that go wrong with this are things like sagging here in the abdominal area and sagging forward in the chest. So move the shoulders back and lift from the crown of the head upward and bring the chin slightly down so the back neck is nice and long. And then, just stretch away with the hands and then relax the hands about the knee. Actually, it'd be much better if we had the elbow underneath the shoulder joint, so about there. Yeah. Let me pause for a moment. So what's really helpful in this, in fact, it's not coming out on the video too well, is the reason we have these things to sit on, which I could do with double, is because if we don't, sometimes we're sitting like that. So if we could just sit on something so that the pelvis, can you see, it's just come slightly forward. And then we imagine the pelvis like a bowl. If you filled it with milk, it wouldn't spill, rather than if it was tipped too far forward or too far back. Yeah. And then bring your toes towards you a moment. And let's close our eyes. And then relax the toes. Let's do nothing. Let's the pose work on those. So make sure you're not collapsing in the torso. The shoulders are down, and if anything, slightly back with the shoulder blades coming together and slightly down. The tongues to the base of the mouth. The whole of the face is completely relaxed. Allowing the breathing to quieten down. So you'll feel the body probably pulsing slightly from the work we've been doing, which is good. Definitely energy changing through the body. Okay, and then it's as though we're coming up into a star shape, but from this position. So arms up like so. Okay, and then leaning forward, as though there was something over there. Keep trying to reach. And then if you know you have tightness or injury somewhere along the adductors here, you can always bend one knee so you don't exacerbate it, and then coming down towards the floor, and then just see, wiggle, jiggle a little. See if you can bring the forearms a little bit down more towards the floor. And you'll notice I'm not being strict with my legs. They don't have to be straight. I'm protecting the groin area. Okay. So at the front, and then swing the arms out towards the feet. Lowering down. Maybe holding on. If you can't reach the feet, somewhere along, yoga travelers somewhere. And then you want to think, yes, but what do I check in this pose? So one of the things that does go wrong is that, the abdominal area scrunches up. So think of taking the rib cage further away from the pelvis, and you can use your shoulders to actually wiggle that movement. So the head's going in that direction away from you, and then lower a bit more. There's more space in there. And then breathing in, just rub the legs coming back up with the hands back into the seated start. And breathe out, take the arms back. Okay, and we're doing a wide angle plank with wide feet, so lifting. Okay, lovely. So might be tricky. You've got a lot of weight going through your heels. Right. Actually, this is good. And then see if you can have the crown of the head in line with the tailbone. Tailbone, neck vertebra, crown of the head. And then just when it begins to feel pretty unbearable, you can come down. And let's rest comfortably in the lying down cobbler. So you put the cushion beneath your head, leave the shoulders away from the head, chin towards the chest. Just relax into that. So this was the kind of gentle I suspect you were thinking of. I suspect you were thinking of this. I should have done one of those sessions where we do it all lying down. You can put a bid in for that next week. I can do it. Oh, let's let go here as though we're staying here for a long time. The arms are coming out straight from the shoulder joint, but the hands are about a foot away from the hips, and they're pointing upwards. You might need to press on the back of the head to bring the shoulders and shoulder blades away from the head. And then you might need to open out the shoulder blades by wiggle jiggling. And you might need to just bring the chin in more towards the chest, open the back of the neck. What else? If you were doing checks, see if you can tighten the buttocks, lift the pelvis. Okay? So you're doing lying down cobbler, but you're actually lifting the pelvis upwards. This is superb for closing the sacroiliac joint. If it's getting loose, can you feel that lift? Breathing into that, there's a slight hitch in that the chin tends to want to start going up towards the heavens. So keep it tucked in. So just when you thought it was getting nice and gentle, we do this. But hey, and now see if you can push a little bit higher. Push through the feet, keep the knees wide. Open out the front of the chest, the heart area, so it's inflating and opening out like a dome in front of you. A bit above you, the top of you. At the same time, relax the shoulders and let them sink into the ground. Okay, and then breathing out, coming down. And we can rest again. And if you like, you can slightly rock the pelvis from side to side. And then lying there doing nothing and letting the lying down cobbler just work on us, doing its work, relaxing the face. And again, if you're thinking, well, Sarah, what should I check in this pose? Maybe see if you can push the heels a little bit higher towards the torso. Just wiggle and jiggle them up a bit. And then see if you can widen out the front of the pelvis by rocking from side to side, opening out the front pelvis. Breathing into that. And that's our pose for allowing ourselves to absorb the benefits of what we've just been doing. And let's see if we can continue to enjoy being in this lying down position. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to lengthen out your left leg. Okay, just straight out. And then I'd like you to bend your right knee and take the right foot over to the outside of the left knee. Okay, placing it down there. Then I'd like you to take your hands coming out, like a cross out from the shoulders.
Both sides.
Yeah, both sides. And then you're facing the ceiling. You probably know what's about to happen. We're trying to take that right knee and we're rolling it over onto the floor. So you'll find that your right arm starts to lift up. That's okay. And then you can bring your left hand and place it on that right knee to keep it there. Okay. So see your right foot. Get a sense of where your right foot is. You can place it onto your left knee, the sole of the foot. Can you feel your sole of your foot? That's it. And see if you can roll over some more. Some more. So that that knee starts to go down to the ground. Don't worry about your right hand. Lift it up. Wave it around in the hands. Just rolling over some more to get the right knee on the ground. Okay, now, that's where it gets fun. So point to the ceiling with your right hand. Okay, good. And see if you can take your awareness to your left shoulder. So it's probably on its outer edge a bit. We want it to be flatter. So push through the head, lift the left shoulder up and move on the way onto its shoulder blades some more. Okay, so you've still got your right knee on the ground. Does that make sense? And then slowly breathing out, bring that right hand down to the right side, onto the floor, back of the hand on the floor. Okay. And then if you want to do a tiny maneuver, being very careful, push again through the head, lift the left shoulder blade up and maneuver it so that you're trying to get both shoulder blades onto the floor. And what you'll probably find is the right knee goes up. Yeah. So we find a little kind of sweet spot where we've got the right knee on the ground and the right shoulder blade probably isn't on the ground, but we turn the head to the right. Okay. And we experiment with seeing whether all of the right forearm can be on the floor, right elbow on the floor. We're looking to the right, or breathing into it. We've got some interesting stretching going on. So actually, if somebody had a vulnerable and very open where the SI joints, the sacroiliac joints are, I would advise them to be careful on this one. They're going to work out at what level they can do this. But you also might feel you're actually stimulating and stretching the lymph system from that right armpit area across the chest. And the more we stay in the pose, the more we try and turn the head to the right. And the more we try and drop that right shoulder down a bit more. So spinal twist. Abdominal organs are getting wrung out, compressed and opened. And now the challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to see how relaxed we can stay in this pose. Whether we can feel like we can let go and almost go to sleep. So obviously, if you're pregnant and your belly was getting away, you could move that right knee further down away from you, and it doesn't press against the belly so much. So almost drifting into sleep here, comfortably letting the pose work on there, relaxing the face. And then to come out of it, see that left hand? You could tuck it under the right knee and just push that knee up using the strength in the left hand and arm. Gently, gently rolling onto your back. Careful, careful, no sudden movements. Okay, and then going back into the cobbler, the lying down cobbler. And I'd like you to rock from side to side. And then imagine your arms are in the normal position in the cobbler, they're down about a foot away from the pelvis, palms upwards. I'd like you to imagine somebody's pulling them out of the shoulder joint, okay? As you rock. And then let them relax and sink into the earth, still rocking from side to side, fairly comfortably. And then straighten out the legs. And let's rest in Shavasana. Probably have your shoulders too close to your ears, so wriggle, jiggle, shoulder blades and shoulders down a bit. Chin a little more to chest. Pause, do nothing. Let's breathe. And you're probably able to work this out or know this already. Work this out for yourself or know this already. And it's the reason why we're staying here for a moment is this pose we've just done was very, very strong. And it created a lot of change. And I want that to be absorbed and to not be rushed through. So rest here for a minute. Relax the face if you can. These moments of letting go are just lovely. And if part of the mind is thinking, oh heck, we've got to do the other side soon. So I've got 15 seconds of just lying here still. Okay, and then bringing the legs to parallel. And this time bending the left knee. Okay, I'm going to do this probably more straight onto the right. Then the left knee, take the left foot over to the outside of the right knee. Take the arms out, Maltese cross. Okay, and then swing to the left this time because we're going to actually have some momentum building up. So swing the knee to the left and then push it over to the right and roll over. So let's have the left hand going right up to the heavens. Let's just be really honest about this. We rolled over onto our right side and then I'd like you to come down with that left hand. Okay, and then turn the head to the left. You can place the right hand on that left knee, encouraging it down to the floor. Now, there's a little trick you can do, which is kind of fun. See that left hand? Go onto your fingertips and just push with your fingertips to push your left knee over onto the ground. Okay, and you'll find your left shoulder is nowhere near the ground, so we've got to do the wiggle jiggle bit. So push through the head, and even maybe your right elbow if you can do it. So you've got no weight now, you've lifted your shoulders off the ground and you're moving your shoulder blades to try and get them level and down onto the floor level. Then the left palm is facing the ceiling. Let's lift the head up and turn so that the left ear is almost on the floor, looking at the left hand. Still encouraging, might not be touching, but encouraging the left knee down to the ground. So if you feel some creaks in the middle and lower back, obviously being careful, but also remembering this is a physio and chiropractic move for people who are really struggling with lower back pain. They put people into this position to ease out spasms along the spine. So let's see if we can relax for a moment, breathing into it. Obviously, if you need the room around your belly, you can lower that left knee further away from you. Okay. Just breathing in there. And one of the things about the twists that I don't understand, yes, they take a while to get into. We've done lots of little jiggles and movements, but they're so beneficial when we get there. So maybe we could think about, at some point in our day, just in the evening, doing a twist and just lying there for a while in the twist on the floor, letting it sort your body out, sort your emotions out. Relax the face if you can. Lovely, doing lovely work. Left kidney area, spleen area. Okay, and then to come out of it, I would suggest cupping your left knee with your right hand. So palm of the hand, cupping that left knee and pushing. And pushing back up, rolling back up, put the left foot on the floor for a moment. Okay, and the right foot, then that right knee, bring the right foot up. Pausing, with the knees bent for a moment, bring both hands onto the belly. Okay, and pausing now, not in Shavasana, but a modified corpse pose. Okay, modified corpse pose. Chin to chest, shoulders away from the head. And then take the arms out, arms upwards, foot away from the pelvis. Letting them rest on the floor. And back to lying down cobbler, so solving the feet together, and rock a little from side to side. And then depending on your knee joints, actually, if you feel, oh, my knee joints are not happy at the moment, you can push the feet further away. So rather than having a triangle shape with your legs, having more of a diamond shape. See if you just relax into that. Okay, and then bring both knees together. And roll over onto one side. And come up. Okay, I'm just thinking, oh no, please, not to standing again. But we're not going to standing, you'll be pleased to know. We're just going to table position. Table, is that all right?
Yeah, I wish we would get this one again.
Yeah, me too, especially when I've been down there for a while. That's kind of normal. And so when we get to here, we're probably thinking, well, actually, I was really happy lying down. I was very happy lying down, but just check the hands. Let's get them under the shoulder joints, probably bringing them back a bit. Okay, and then we're moving from table. Let's do hammock pose, so looking up and tailbone up. Okay, and then the opposite way, breathing out. Put the chin under, put the tailbone under, taking the spine right up to the ceiling. And again, just imagine you've got this ripple going from your tailbone as you go the other way, ripple all the way along the spine, even into the neck vertebra, looking up, so hammock, and then bridge. Let's just keep going with that. So the breathing down a bit, so you're breathing in as you go up into the hammock, and you're breathing out as you bend and lift the spine into the bridge. Follow your own breathing rhythm. And then the next pose that you're in, for me it's going to be the bridge. Just pausing there. Keep breathing. See if you can lift the spine more up towards the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone under some more. Tuck the chin in some more. But keep breathing. Into this pose where I can always smell my washing powder. It's true. Is anybody else getting that? I can smell my washing powder. Okay, breathing in, going the other way. Into the hammock. And looking up. So we're trying to look as though we're looking straight up. What's above our head up there? Right above our head. Okay, lovely front stroke, great. Nice. So obviously in pregnancy, as you get more full at the front, probably flatten out the spine a bit more. Okay, and then let's widen out the knees, bring the big toes together, coming down, comfortably lengthening the arms away, and rest. So this is nice and gentle. Soothing, quietening, calming. And you might have found that you're doing quite a lot of work for your wrists, so if you wish to, you can rotate and move the wrist joint a bit. while you're in this pose, just to be kind to it. It did a lot of work there. And the cat, when we're doing bridge to hammock, which is normally called cat pose, it does put quite a lot of work on this joint, so lubricate them a bit. Oh. And then let's deepen that, so bring the hands back and palms upwards, hands by the feet somewhere, and the arms coming around the side of the body. And if your forehead's uncomfortable, you can always put a cushion there. Lost track of my cushion. Let's do what I teach. Actually take care of myself. Cushion. Balasana, the child pose. Soothing, comforting, quiet. Pose of safety, security. Okay, and then sliding the hands up towards the head, pushing to come up. Okay. And then if you can, if it's comfortable to sit like this, do. If it's not, go up higher into upright kneeling. Just pausing for a moment. Okay. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you some hand work. So with your hands, so sitting comfortably on a chair, on a sofa, on your block. Okay. So widening out the fingers. So really making yourself feel comfy. Were you in there?
I was there for a second.
Oh, for a second. George was in there. Oh. Want to come back and just wave? Do you want to put a hand in and wave? No. I didn't see you.
I was there.
Okay. You'll have to freeze frame that bit. Okay. So can you see what I'm doing with my fingers? I'm opening them out, curling round. I'm doing some hand yoga. And if it's a strain to hold them there, you can put down there. Oh, I think that gentle soothing bit was making me yawn. Really? Okay. And then closing and opening. Again, if you want to rest the arms. And then before we do the full finger work, I'd like you to rub along. So you rub along the thumb and kind of pull out the joint a little. So again, sending very strong signals into the brain that that joint needs much more lubrication, much more synovial fluid in there, and we want it to remain flexible. Okay. And then we do the same to the index. And so it can feel quite vigorous. And I'm surprised when I'm doing it for other people that it feels like I'm actually pulling the finger off. But, you know, doing it to ourselves, we can feel actually it's quite securely attached. There's going to be quite a lot of pulling. And when you're pulling, you actually are opening out the joint a bit. Do you want another moment of fame, George, and come back in?
Yeah.
And then I'm on the little finger. Okay. And then, yeah, before we do the other side, though, just rub them because they're probably thinking, why are you doing that to me? Not at all sure about that. Okay, and then we go the other side. So thumb We go. Train journeys, plane journeys. Sitting at your desk, just needing to think about something for a bit. Watching telly. In the cinema.
Driving.
Not striving, unless you're a
Driving
passenger.
your knees.
Okay, then again, the opening. Like so. And then let's do the bend and in, bend and up, bend and in, bend and up. Okay, and again.
By now.
I know it's very infectious, yawning. So if you're doing the ring finger, you kind of got to let the other fingers go with it, mostly, because it's joined back here. And then the little finger, bend and up, bend and in, bend and up, bend and in, bend and up, bend and in. And the thumb. I think you're cheating, Robin.
All right, what we're doing.
You're just going. Index finger, bend. And you got those all right.
Yeah.
So was it only the thumb you were
Thumb,
cheating
yeah.
on? Oh, okay. So yeah, the thumb is a bit more
Thumb.
tricky. Bend, push in, bend up, bend, push in, bend up. I'm sure there's a children's rhyme, something to do with thumbs and fingers. Okay, and then press the fingers together. Can you see what I'm doing there? Really pushing them together, but lifting the elbows up without, don't scrunch your shoulders up. Yes, something like that. I would want to cough, wouldn't I, when I can't put my hand in front of my mouth. And then lowering down, but lifting, keeping the elbows up. Can you feel that push against? So that's getting these joints here. Okay, and then opening out. Wide, 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 wide. And then taking your left hand to your right hand and just using your thumb to open out through that palm. And this heel of the hand here, that doesn't mind being quite a lot of deep pressure, nor does the bit just under the heel underneath the thumb joint and around the tops. But the middle of the hand is a bit like the insteps, a little bit tender. So go a bit more gently there. And then the other side, right thumb to left hand. And if you're at home, when you've done, do that, get some friction and heat. Feel that heat build up, and then rub that heat over all of the joints. And if you close your eyes while you're doing it and build up heat, it really does feel rather wonderful on the joints. And then you'd put hand cream on and just kind of soothe the entire hand. Okay, and then place the hands palms upwards. And just sit for a moment comfortably. So again, you could be sitting on a chair. You could be nicely supported with the sofa behind you, but the spine upright, the face relaxed, eyes closed. Just a moment of being present here. This is how we are, who we are in this moment. Are we meeting ourselves with kindness, gentleness, tenderness, or are we criticizing? Sometimes we're even bullying ourselves. Just nice and gentle. And then to end, before we go into the deep relaxation, a hug. So actually hugging and rubbing up around the shoulders. Close the eyes and then hug really tight. And of course, the body responds to touch. That's the nerves and the skin are responding to that touch. And it will respond with the oxytocin, the happy hormone, as though you actually being loved. So try to give yourself a really loving, kind, caring, tender, fond embrace. And we have to get rid of all our English tightness around doing these things. And think, actually, you know, it's rather nice. And then press a bit tighter and say your name in your mind to yourself. And like I'd be saying, Sarah, I'm here for you. I care about you. And really tight, really sending that message in through my arms and my hands. Okay, and then releasing out. Get away with that far more probably in California. Sorry, Americans. Quite a lot of Americans are watching the videos. Sorry, Americans. We're very English. We're very uptight. So we're going to go in the relaxation. So I'm going to stop the recording now so we can sort that all out. But I would recommend doing Shavasana at the end of the class and maybe putting some music on, putting your socks on, sweaters on to end. Okay, 5 or 6 minutes. All right, thank you.